We will look at what are dictionaries in Python. The topics that we are going to cover are we'll first discuss what is a dictionary, then we'll jump into different notebook and see how we create one and how do we check what are the elements, the inbuilt methods that are available to us, and finally we'll end the discussion with understanding the concept of nesting in a dictionary. So coming to the first question, what are dictionaries? Dictionaries are unordered elements which are of the form of a key and a value pair. That is, we have already seen lists and we said list is an ordered pair of numbers. That is, every element has its own numbering. But when it comes to a dictionary doesn't have any number associated with the element. So let's try to understand what they are and how we create them in the Python notebook. So let's jump into the notebook and see these concepts. Alright, so for the first thing, let's first create a dictionary. So I'm first going to create a blank dictionary. So let's see how we create one. So I'm going to call this as my dict. And after the equal sign, the only thing that I'm going to provide is a pair of curly braces. So by saying this, we're telling Python that we need this my dict to be a dictionary. And we can check that by typing type of my dict. The type method will tell us it is a dict, that is short for dictionary. Now, let's try to put in some elements in this. And now we'll understand what is the meaning of a key and a value pair. So I'll take the same name again, my dict, but this time I'm going to provide it two key and value pairs. So for the first element I'll take the key as 1 and the value I'm going to provide to this key is, let's say, ABC. Similarly, the second element is 2 and the value that I'm going to provide is DEF. So if we need the value ABC, all we have to do is we have to call on the key 1, then automatically get the value of ABC. Alright, so here what we did is both my keys are numbers, but that need not be the case every time. So we can have a dictionary with mixed types of data types. That is, let's say I create one more mind day, but this time, let's say I have the alphabet A is my first key, to which the value that I provide is, let's say, the name James, and the second key that I'm going to provide is, let's say, number 1, and the value that I provide to this is another number. So if you run this, you'll see that Python will accept it. Even though both of these are not numbers, still we are able to create mixed keys inside a dictionary, and Python will allow this. Okay, so there are other ways of creating a dictionary. So one of the shorter methods and one of my favorites are using the dict method. That is, simply I have to write DICT, open braces, and inside this, instead of this is to sign and all, I can simply say, let's say I want the first key to be A and the value to be 1, and the next key to be B and the value to be 2. Now if you observe, we have used the equal sign instead of the is to sign. So here clearly we can say key and value. So for the first key the value is 1, second key the value is 2. And even if we run this, and now if I check on my deck, you can see that the exact same thing has been created, similar to what we have done in the previous lines. Okay, So this is one of the shortcut methods of creating a dictionary very quickly. Now, the other way of creating a dictionary would be that you provide this as an item value pair. Okay, by that I mean, so let's say my dict, and again I go for the dict method, but this time instead of providing like we did in line 5, I'm going to provide a list of key value pairs. Okay, so here I'm going to provide ABC, comma 1. This is my first pair, and the next pair that I'm going to provide is DEF, comma 2. Okay, and if we run this and when we check on my dict, exact same thing has been done. So here we have actually provided a key value pair using a list. Okay, but I think out of all the methods, this particular method is the easiest one to create a dictionary. Now, let's try to understand how we are going to take elements out of this dictionary. Okay, so first, let's focus our attention on this particular dictionary that we have, my dict ABC1 and DEF2. Alright, now let's say I just want to take out the value 1 from this. Okay, now like I mentioned, it doesn't have any order. The dictionaries are unordered pairs. Okay, so if you try doing something like my dict of 0, and if you run this, you're going to get an error saying that Python doesn't recognize what is my dict of 0. Whereas in list, if you had done so, it would have given you the first element. So this is what I mean when I say that they are unordered pairs. Okay, so there's no numbering associated with it. So now if I want to take out the value 1 out of this thing, the option that we have here is, instead of passing in these numbers, those were the index values that we had seen while we were doing the lists session. Now the only option that we have is we need to use the keys. So there were key value pairs. So using the keys we can take out the values. So here if I just pass in ABC and if I run this, now you see that we get the value 1. That is, we were asking for this we wanted to take out this particular value. Okay. The other method of getting the same information is, so let's say instead of ABC, if I go for DEF, I could have simply written my dict of DEF, but the other method is to get the use the dot get method. Okay, and inside this you don't have to pass in anything except the key itself, and you get the value as the output. Now, what happens if we provide the dictionary with some key which doesn't exist? So if we talk about this particular set that we have with us, the dictionary set ABC1 and DEF2, let's say I just pass in some random name, okay, some random key that doesn't exist. So let's say just taking Apple for example. We know Apple doesn't exist in this particular key value pairs. Okay, we only have ABC and DEF as the keys. But if I type in Apple and if I run this, Python will automatically tell us this is a key error. That is, it's not able to find this particular key called Apple. So hence, when we give the dictionary some key which doesn't exist, we always get an error. Okay.